For over 1,000 years, the legendary walls of Constantinople stood as the ultimate symbol of imperial invincibility. Built by Emperor Theodosius II in the 5th century, these massive triple-layered stone fortifications had repelled every invasion force that ever dared to challenge them, from Persian armies and Arab caliphates to barbarian hordes. The city was a natural fortress, surrounded by water on 3 sides and guarded by a massive iron chain stretched across the Golden Horn Bay to prevent enemy ships from entering its harbor. To the medieval world, Constantinople was not merely a capital, it was the last surviving bastion of the Roman Empire, an impenetrable stronghold of Eastern Christianity that seemed destined to endure forever. However, by the spring of 1453, the once mighty Byzantine Empire had withered into a shadow of its former glory, controlling little more than the city itself and its immediate surroundings. Standing outside its colossal gates was an ambitious 21-year-old Ottoman ruler, Sultan Mehmed II. Highly educated, fluent in 6 languages, and deeply versed in ancient military tactics, Mehmed was driven by a singular vision that had obsessed commanders for centuries: the conquest of Constantinople. He understood that whoever controlled this city controlled the vital trade routes linking Europe and Asia, as well as the destiny of the Islamic and Christian worlds. Recognizing that traditional siege tactics would never break defenses that had stood for 10 centuries, Mehmed turned to groundbreaking technology and radical military engineering. He commissioned an eccentric Hungarian engineer named Orban to cast the largest artillery piece the world had ever seen, the Basilic, a colossal 27-foot bronze super cannon capable of hurling 600-kilogram stone cannonballs over a mile. When fired, the blast was so powerful that it shook the earth for miles around and required 2 hours just to reload. With over 80,000 Ottoman troops, state-of-the-art gunpowder artillery, and an unyielding determination, Mehmed laid siege to the city in April 1453, initiating one of the most high-stakes, dramatic military showdowns in human history. The siege began with an earth-shattering bombardment as the Ottoman cannons battered the ancient Theodosian Walls day and night. The sound of exploding stone and collapsing masonry echoed across the Bosphorus, signaling the dawn of a new era in siege warfare where gunpowder would render ancient castles obsolete. Yet, the Byzantine defenders, led by Emperor Constantine XI and the brilliant Genoese commander Giovanni Giustiniani, fought back with desperate heroism. Under the cover of darkness, citizens and soldiers worked side by side to repair shattered sections of the walls using timber, earth, and rubble, effectively neutralizing much of the damage caused by the giant cannons during the day. Meanwhile, Mehmed's naval blockade faced a major roadblock. The Byzantines had secured the Golden Horn harbor with a massive submerged iron chain, preventing the Ottoman navy from attacking the city's weaker northern walls. When an Ottoman naval fleet failed to force its way past the chain and 3 relief ships from Europe managed to slip through to supply the besieged city, Mehmed knew that time was running out. Morale among his generals was beginning to waver, with some advising him to lift the siege before European reinforcements arrived. Faced with potential failure, Sultan Mehmed executed one of the most audacious tactical maneuvers in military history. If his fleet could not sail through the water, he would make them walk on land. In a single night of extraordinary discipline and engineering, thousands of Ottoman soldiers constructed a road of oiled wooden planks over the rugged hills of Galata, bypassing the Venetian colony and the iron chain entirely. Using teams of oxen and thousands of men, over 70 fully armed Ottoman warships were dragged up steep slopes and down into the waters of the Golden Horn. When dawn broke on April 22, the defenders woke up to the terrifying sight of an Ottoman fleet floating in their inner harbor. The psychological blow was devastating. The Byzantines were forced to stretch their already thin and exhausted forces across a brand new defensive line along the harbor walls. By late May, after nearly 2 months of continuous bombardment, mining attempts, and brutal skirmishes, Mehmed issued an ultimatum to Emperor Constantine XI, offering him peaceful surrender. Constantine famously refused, declaring that he would rather die defending his ancestral home. On the night of May 28, 1453, a tense silence fell over the Ottoman camp as thousands of torches illuminated the city walls. Mehmed addressed his troops, promising them glory and immortality. In the early hours of May 29, the final assault commenced. Wave after wave of Ottoman infantry rushed the battered walls under a hail of arrows and stones. First came the irregular troops, followed by the heavily armored Anatolian forces. Finally, Mehmed unleashed his ultimate weapon, the elite, discipline-bound Janissaries. During the chaotic hand-to-hand fighting, the Byzantine leader Giustiniani was critically wounded and carried off the battlefield, causing panic among the defenders. Capitalizing on the moment, Ottoman soldiers discovered an unlocked postern gate known as the Kirka Porta and forced their way inside. Exhausted and outnumbered, the Byzantine lines collapsed. Emperor Constantine XI tore off his imperial insignia and charged into the fray, dying alongside his men in a final, tragic stand. As the sun rose over the city on May 29, 1453, the Ottoman flag was hoisted atop the highest tower of the Theodosian Walls. At just 21 years old, Sultan Mehmed had accomplished what had been deemed impossible for 1,000 years, earning the legendary title Mehmed the Conqueror, Fatih Sultan Mehmed. He rode into the city and immediately marched to the Grand Cathedral of Hagia Sophia, ordering it to be preserved and converted into a magnificent mosque, signaling the transformation of Constantinople into Istanbul, the new, vibrant capital of the Ottoman Empire. The fall of Constantinople was far more than a decisive military triumph. It was a seismic geopolitical shift that fundamentally reshaped the course of world history. The collapse of the Byzantine Empire marked the official end of the Middle Ages and the final chapter of the ancient Roman state. The conquest forced European nations to search for new sea routes to Asia, directly fueling the Age of Discovery and leading to the European exploration of the Americas. Furthermore, the exodus of Greek scholars fleeing the fallen city to Western Europe helped ignite the intellectual awakening of the Renaissance. Mehmed's masterclass in military strategy, revolutionary artillery, and psychological warfare remains one of the most studied campaigns in human history, a testament to how visionary leadership can shatter centuries of tradition in a single stroke. Thank you for watching this deep dive into one of history's greatest military triumphs. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button, share your thoughts in the comments below, and subscribe to Dynasty History for more epic historical sagas.